persistently working on the Tulsa case for over 25 years, persistently working on getting the rights for Black Native Americans from the First Nations, consistently working for that for 26 years. Doesn't it say something about long-term struggle, long-term vision, long-term, righteousness? What does it, what gave you when many people, turn away when they don't get something in, 2 minutes or something in a year? What gave you that strength to be so persistent, Attorney Solomon-Simmons?
Well, it's I would say three main things. Number one, I come from a praying grandmother and a praying mother who taught me the value of faith and having faith. Yeah. That's number one. Number two, seeing my mother who has cerebral palsy, seeing her work through that each and every day to make sure that she could do that everyone else does despite her physical limitations, just seeing that hard work and that perseverance put a spirit inside of me. And then number three, understanding my history and who I was as a person. Once I truly understood what it meant to be from Greenwood, once I truly understood what it meant to be a descendant of someone that walked on the Trail of Tears, once I understood what it meant for me to live up to the legacy that has been laid by my ancestors, then I was committed and relentless about making sure I can vindicate them and make sure our people can get what we need. I wanted to give up many times, Barbara and Daryl. I wanted to quit. I had dark days, depression, a lot of obstacles, odds and opposition, a lot of no's. I went many years without any payment, any money. I was attacked.
Oh, my goodness.
I said, God, but I believed that this was the right thing, and I believed I had been called by God to make this happen. And it's through the grace of God and my ancestors and supporters like you, Barbara, that this has happened. And this is not the end, but this is a great, great foundation for us to continue to move forward. So in this moment that we're facing, what we're facing from the federal government, this moment, this second nadir that's happening where Jim Crow is rearing its ugly head, where white supremacy is open and obvious, we have to remember that the Greenwoods were built in an era like this. The National Bar was built in an era like this. Our black churches was built in an era like this. Our fraternities were built in an era like this. This is what we do as black people. We survive, we persist, and we are resilient. It's not going to be easy. It will be a lot more tough days. But like you said, when we fight, we win, and we must persevere.
Wow, you are amazing. I believe like you, and I believe God did send you to be here for this time, for this fight, to show us the way forward, and just keep on doing the amazing work that you're doing. You know Daryl and I are there for you. You know that on June 1, I'm already going to mark that in my calendar as we celebrate that, citywide recognition of the anniversary of the Tulsa Massacre, but more importantly, the perseverance and the spirit of the people who refuse to be defeated. Thank you so much. How do people get in touch with you before you run back into your session?
Absolutely. You get in touch with me. You can go to Attorney Damario on all socials, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Hey, I just started a TikTok channel just last week, and so you can find me there, Attorney Damario. You can connect with Justice for Greenwood, my organization, justiceforgreenwood.org. That's justiceforgreenwood.org. I always tell people the three things you can do to help with justiceforgreenwood.org is to make a donation, sign up to our newsletter, get involved in our activations, and then tell three of your best friends to do the same thing. So justiceforgreenwood.org or Attorney Damario on all socials, you can get at me. And next year will be the 105th anniversary of the massacre.
Wow.
And so we invite everyone down because we're definitely going to be planning for a wonderful, wonderful time, commemorating in the right way and making sure that people don't forget this issue, and more importantly, that we continue to fight for justice, economic justice, reparatory justice, racial justice, and making sure that we can make sure we persist through this dark time of MAGA 2.0.
Thank you so much. Glad to be in this battle with you. Proud of your incredible work. Grateful to everyone who has been involved in this struggle. And I want to give a salute to the memory of Charles Ogletree and so many others who have fought this battle. John Hope Franklin, so many others. Yes. Thank you so much. I'll see you at the convention.
Yeah. See you in a little bit. Love you guys.
Braden, we look forward to the new mayor.
Okay,
all right.
Yes,
can't wait for this new mayor. Okay, bye-bye. Well, Daryl, that is something. Most people, one thing to our audience, one thing TJC does is cover the news that you don't hear on the major networks. How many of you knew about that wonderful decision of the mayor to do something and to do all that he's done? How many of you knew next year that we need to be there for the 105th anniversary of the Tulsa massacre and the fight for reparations for the people of Tulsa? How many of you knew about the Cherokee Nation agreement to honor their Black Native American brothers and sisters? Finally, after over more than 100 years, how many of you knew this? That's why we do this radio show, because we want to bring you the news that you don't normally hear. Right, Daryl?
Absolutely. I guess we're going to have to get one of those bulletin machines, Barbara, when something's breaking, and then let people know this is breaking news. Here it comes.
Right. So that's what we do. We break news.
And it's just wonderful to have people like Damario Solomon-Simmons, who's really on the front lines and can take the time to break it down to folks, to let people know what's happening in Greenwood, what's happening in Tulsa. And, again, I was unaware, Barbara, that Tulsa, for the first time, had its first Black mayor. Unaware. So it's just great to hear that that's in place. And the other thing that it shows, Barbara, is the difference that the Black mayor can make with regards to what happens politically in our neighborhoods and in our communities. Hats off to the mayor. Hats off to Damario.
And like we're seeing here in Chicago with Mayor Brandon Johnson, when people elect a mayor or an elected official who knows that they are accountable to you, the voter, that's the issue. They got to know that they're accountable to the voter. When they know that, they can do amazing things. Crime is down here in Chicago. Youth employment is up. So many good things are happening because you got a mayor who feels accountable to the people. And with that said, about breaking news, one thing we broke today at the breaking news that we broke out today during our Supreme Court review is what's happening in the 8th Circuit of the United States. The 8th Circuit, as everybody knows, the federal courts are divided into different circuits, and the circuits cover different states. And in the 8th Circuit, it covers 7 states. And what has been going on is we've been talking to you for a while, has been since November of 2023. We have been talking to you about the evil of what's going on in the 8th Circuit, trying to make it almost impossible for people to use the Voting Rights Act, Section 2, meaning that when somebody discriminates against you, when you're trying to vote, that the Voting Rights Act is there to be your remedy. It's to be your, repose. It's where you can actually go to court and say, my rights have been wronged and I want them vindicated. Please make them stop doing the wrong. Make them recompense me for what they've done wrong. Make sure that all voters are able to have voting rights and not to be subjected to this racial discrimination in voting. Well, nothing's more important in this work because it has become critical right now, folks. There are some huge developments in the 8th Circuits, and I am so glad, and Daryl and I are so glad that we've been joined by one of the leading voices, one of the most, oh my goodness, talented attorneys in our country. She is one of the biggest advocates for community engagement. She has done everything in her power to fight for voting rights, not only for the citizens of Missouri and the people of Missouri, but she's fought across this nation. She is one of the nation's most amazing voting rights attorney. She is director and general counsel at Missouri Voter Protection Coalition. She's a civil rights attorney and nationally recognized voting rights expert and movement lawyer who has worked closely with nonprofits and grassroots advocacy organizations in Missouri and around the country for the last 25 years. Welcome to Igniting Change again, attorney Denise Leiberman. Hey, Denise.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my goodness, you are amazing. You are just coming off of weeks of intensive, brief writing, getting ready for, major cases, and you led the John Lewis Good Trouble, anchor event in St. Louis. You are amazing. We're so glad you're with us.
I am so delighted to be here and so delighted to partner with the Transformative Justice Coalition because we know that we need to get in good trouble if we are going to keep the courts. Because right now, those courts are not going to protect the law by themselves. We have to get out there in the streets and make some good trouble to ensure that our rights are going to be protected.
And Denise, to that extent, I've decided to give that federal circuit down there a new name, that 8th Circuit. I'm not going to call it the 8th Circuit. When I was a kid, there was a game we used to call it the Crazy Eight, and what's going on down there with that crazy 8th Circuit? Come on, Denise.
Oh my goodness, Crazy Eight. Well.
Daryl, I think you hit it right on the head. The 8th Circuit doesn't get a lot of attention like, say, the 5th Circuit does, which covers places like Texas, which, you've also got Crazy Fifth right there, too. But I will tell you, I think that these decisions that we're seeing in the 8th Circuit that people sort of gloss over because it's the middle of the country are the canary in the coal mine, and they are showing a very, very dangerous trend of basically kicking people out of the courthouse, saying that, no, you don't have a right to assert your own civil rights in court. And not only are we seeing this throughout the 8th Circuit, but those ideas are now trickling down into state court cases, too, even under more protective state constitutions. And that's something we're seeing come up here in Missouri as well.
Wow. And it's so important that people understand when we're talking about the 8th Circuit. People don't know and understand the many, many, many states, the 7 states that we're talking about. Let's go through them so everybody can relate to this. Because you got family, you got friends, and that there are people of color in these states. People, we're talking about Arkansas, Iowa, Minnesota, where George Floyd was killed. We're talking about Missouri, good old St. Louis, Kansas City. We're talking about Nebraska, where the believe it or not, where the NBA, got a lot of its start. We're talking about North Dakota and South Dakota, right? Those are the states that we're talking about, with some with major African American, major Native American, Asian, other populations that are being affected by this court's rulings. Tell us, Denise, what the court, the U.S. Supreme Court, just got a little bit involved with the Eighth Circuit's voting rights, jurisprudence that has been trying to, as you pointed out, stop people from using the courts. Can you tell people what the Supreme Court did just a few weeks,